riots will not happen again. If they happen, they will be dealt with decisively, not like the other time when we were like when the police were like caught by surprise and the response was slow. So I therefore thank the people of Uganda, and I congratulate you for turning up in big numbers and voting for the candidates and for the parties of your choice. I think this may turn out to be the most cheating-free election since 1962. Since 1962, we have been having a problem of people want to cheat in the elections. This has been the chronic problem of Uganda. Multiple voting, underage voting, where the ballot stuffing were the biggest problems. And that's what I've been fighting all these. One of the things I've been fighting all these years, because in 1962 I was a member of DP, and I know how much the history of Uganda was distorted by not having free elections that time. The people who distorted the election of 1962 were two. One was our people of UPC, who believed in multiple voting and cheating and so on. I remember my friend Elia Kategaya, who was slightly older than me, who was therefore underage, because at that time the voting age was 21. He did not only vote, but he voted 8 times. Now, that was one of the distorting factors of that time. Then you had Kabaka Yeka. Kabaka Yeka, with their confused tribal ideology, they were engaged in intimidation, intimidating the DP supporters in Buganda, cutting their coffee if you didn't agree with them, so that people again did not express their opinion. That was the beginning of the trouble, actually. Since that time, I have been struggling to make sure that a vote means a vote. When we say one person, one vote, it should be one person, one vote. And as I said in my speech the other time on the eve of the elections, I told you that if you interfere with the voting, then you interfere with accountability. Because if I can win, whether the people vote for me or not, that means I don't have to go back and solve their problems. Because even next time, I will use the same method and win without the people voting for me. It is therefore treason to interfere with the principle of one person, one vote. After a long struggle, I think I'm about to succeed in controlling that criminality. And this one has been helped by the introduction of the thumbprint read by the computer to know that this is no other person other than Museveni. Now, I am told some people are trying to avoid voting by the machines. And I'm told that some people were disabling the machines so that they allowed the cheating. But I'm told that the machines were rectified, and in many cases, people voted by the machines. Now, voting by machines made sure there is no cheating. We are going to audit because on account of the removal of the internet, there was no immediate transmission of the voting patterns from each polling station. But we are going to audit and see how many people voted by fingerprints and how many of those who voted without, by just using the register. So therefore, on account of the thumbprint identification machines, this may turn out to be the most cheating-free election in the 58 years of Uganda's independence. On this occasion, I will not address the political, economic, and social factors that one could see in these elections. These elections are actually very good. I'm very happy with them myself because they are taking us into the realm of real politics of principles, and we shall do our part in terms of using this grown population of Uganda, which was only 14 million in 1986, it's now 46 million. So the issues are coming up, and we are very happy and ready to engage in the debate, in the debates of the political, economic, and social factors that influence politics. On this occasion, I will simply mention the 2 points that start with the NRM itself, our party. The NRM, when we were in the bush, had one line, the mass line, the line of the people, where political actors act only in the interest of the people, not in the interest of anything else, not in the interest of the elite, not in the interest of foreigners, not in the interest of this group or that elite group, but in the interest of the people, the ordinary people, the farmers, the factory workers, the people who live by their sweat. That's what we call the mass line. The mass line. You can call it the line of the people's interests. Now, when we came into government, when we were in the bush, the mass line was the only line. We only did what was important for the people and nothing else. However, when we took over government, we had to work with other people. The people who had been elected. Now, many of these people are elected. Although they are elected by the masses, but many of them do not remain loyal to the mass line. They quickly bring in their elite interests. Therefore, it is important for you to know that within the NRM, there has been a struggle between the mass line and the elite line, the line of the elites. Now, what is the mass line? Number one, a disciplined army. The mass line means a disciplined army. When you see security personnel who are misbehaving, know that they have departed from the mass line. Then the mass line, the second element of the mass line, is the politics of patriotism. We never believe in the politics of sectarianism, of religion, of tribe. We believe in the politics of patriotism and Pan-Africanism. And we are going to engage vigorously with anybody who has got pushing the line of sectarianism and parochialism. We shall prove in arguments and engagement that the line of patriotism and Pan-Africanism is correct, and that the line of sectarianism and parochialism is wrong and reactionary and against the interests of the people of Africa. And it was responsible for the enslavement of the African people in the first place. The other element of the mass line in our case here was free education. In 1997, we introduced free education. However, the elite have made this free education not fully operational because at the local level they don't understand it. They don't understand that we are introducing free education to enable the children of the Banaku, the Luchan, the poor people, to study. Just like my own children study because I have money to pay. We said the children of the poor people study free. Why free? Because the people don't have the money to buy education. And we therefore say, stop treating education as a business. Treat it as a service. The road, when we are driving from here to Kampala, that road is free. Nobody is charged on the way. That's how education should be. Should be free education. That's what we wanted to do. But because the elite are not convinced about our mass line, when we say free education, when they go down, they say bring money now. Therefore, what is supposed to be free education ends up being subsidized education. But when you subsidize, but if what happens if somebody cannot top up? That's how the children leave school. And you can see this in the figures. There are 10.7 million children in the primary school, which means 7 years. And in the secondary and post-secondary, there are only 3 million children. The question is, where did the 7 million go? They were barred by the money barrier. In this Kisanja, it will have to be free education, completely free. So that has been the struggle between the mass line of the bush people and the elite line of the people who we teamed up with, even within the NRM. Forget about the other political parties. The other element of the mass line is universal immunization of the people. That one has actually worked. And you remember when we started that immunization in 1997, 87, we were calling it UNEPI, Universal National Expanded Program for Immunization. Because immunization was not universal before. It was partial. Only some people would go that would be immunized. I don't know whether they were paying or what, but it was not universal. Now that one has worked. That's one of the mass line elements that has worked very well. That's how the population has jumped from 14 million to 46 million, because it has worked. And we knew it would work. So if our our mass line elements are not interfered with, they work. Population has now expanded because our mass line of immunization, free immunization, no money, has been implemented. Free medicine in hospitals. That's our line. That medicine should be free. But you know, some people are maneuvering to charge money. Here, there, we go here. This must stop. In this Sanja, we shall make sure there is free medical care in the public hospitals, public health centers. The struggle between the two lines, the line of the masses and the line of the elite, the ones who want to get small money, who want to turn disease into a business. Disease is not a business. Disease prevention is again a service. The other mass line, our mass line, was the universal monetization of the economy. I've been telling you about the Okorra Echida Kyonka. This is a big problem and has been a big problem even before the end of colonialism. In 1969, the people who were working for the stomach only were 96%. I started campaigning that program here in this area, Victoria, where I am now, in 1966. And when I concluded my work in 1995, I informed the whole country. I said, you people, it is possible to convince village people who are not educated, to go from Okore Chida Kyonka, working for the stomach only, teach, may each keken, kutumikia tumbo peke yake. It's possible to convince these people to go from what you call subsistence farming to commercial agriculture. And I would like the TV, if they have some pictures, like the one of Mr. Magaga, to show it to you, if you have it.
Amazina gange, Esther Magaga, Witunahan Waheta, Gwengwe and Shredding. Ampa treasure home Guancaga Netana Ampa. Irian Squonka. Bakan vaje tempango keriam pango empango nese etene bhinge tene keriam burare rikshaka twata home twabe turi umuntu turi sate turi nko twatera nkabakara mujya mbuyino president ayijomu ari umusenye ya mukaga yataya yo makagaitu kugira ngo akataragira ngo naragira akari umwana wishomero tkanto mukeza n'imyaka nangunanye ninge mukeza ubundi yaha ninge mukeza tkanto mukeza imyaka akacomesa ari umwana yacomesa okutura okuhinga okuombeka amashu gatakugira ngo n'amabati agagutwaye mbekere wanyuma g'ebihome okuba batuza umunsi okurera kuzengerera okurera kutasha kutwabanda nambwene nkaitwe nkanya nkenjo yange ekeha kyekutasya kanyabhara konka yatutanga yatwegesa ibintu birungi yatwegesa okushitama yatwegesa okutura yatwegesa twaba abantu mbwene kuko abantu babire abari kumanya bukuru ko babire bari itwe tukatera nkabakaramogi kandi nakigamba matukatera nkabakaramogi hakabakaramogi bakabaturana bafuruka nambwene bumpurira ngo abegesa abandi akabari tampani mpurira nabone bagamba ibya ururimi rw'abantu nuwe ati kizaha no kuturkushoku no kutuye mukono no ataine kakwate nangu no kuba umuntu nako tkantu mukize imyaka itwe tkantu mukize imyaka hari hata nangu ni mukira n'ubundi yampa ati kuyahirize kutegesa ebintu ebyo kutwayega kutwayombeka amaju g'ebihome kutwaba abatuuze kutwarira kufuruka kutwahinga twaba abantu nambwe n'omukyanga kiitu nyahindu garukiraho n'ahandi kandi ninzayo konka ahandi naha narabire kanimba nimbireba mbwenu aho kuyatsigire aho mpaho haija gavumenti ezintakumanya ezazi twabaire turimu yahunga yagenda n'abaana baitu abandi bahunga konka twaguma omu myanya yitu twarugaho twaguma aho batureka aho ababaire nibategeka twaguma aho mbwenu obunaku bwahikire Ruhanga yamureeta yamwiha omu kishaka yarugire omu kishaka yayongeraho ekyakabiri yayongeraho twatunga enjungu yayongeraho obwengye bw'okugemura yayongeraho twayombeka amaka marungi nambwe n'ekyanga kiitu eki kyona ekindi kuheraho aha kanisa yitu erigarukira hindi garukira n'ahandi ahindi arabire obumbaire nyine amaani omutarumbanaku ekyanga kiitu kuruga aha kuhika risheri kuhika hindi garukira tarubanaku ngu abaana banaku nibateeza empiki engaro tibariho nyowe timbareeba kandi kangenda ebyo byona nuwe yabyegiisa ihanga eri turimu eri turikuzaaniramu eri haija amasimu nkanye kuteera esimu n'emyaka yange n'okundi kwingana ngu nanye ninteerera omuntu esimu nahabwekyo ntusiima gavumenti egi ahetwihire ahetuhikize twaba abajungu twashomesa abaana tinyine mwana wange o gavumenti erahaire omurimo tinyine mwana wange orukora omu gavumenti buri mwana wange weena nayepakariza nayeshuburiza oku arikumanya nateera agasanga nakiisa bekoreire nakora nk'oku arikubaasa naarya nani konka tariho omwana wange obu purezidenti arahaire omurimo omu gavumenti eyi ngu hari mwana kureka owahaireyo omuhendo neshagamaye nka mukuru waabo tariho kyona kwihaho obusinge ninyowe nibwo ndikumanya kyakiro na kyamushana nimanya obusinge nimanya okushomesa kwe nimanya okwegyesa kwe nimanya ebi gavumenti eyi yatukorire nikyo nkusiimira Ruhanga then bwo obusinge obubundi bumwe bubwaza kunziika mu Ruhanga kwareekyerize ngu nfe embere ebi ninga harizire habwokuba nikyo ndikumanya kyeki Petero bakambuuza nibahakana yagira ati nyowe kindi kumanya hari Yesu nokuba omwana wa Ruhanga kyonka nyowe kindi kumanya omu gavumenti eya mukuru w'ihanga n'obusinge kyakiro na kyamushana okagwezigero kwimuka omu kasheeshe okiba ori omuhingi okuhinga okiba ori omuriisa okariisa okiba nonde kugumaho kwiba na bubiru nakyo nikyo watorana mukama simu.
Now, that is one of the people I started with in 1966. This is what I keep telling you, my countrymen. I am not in politics looking for anything for myself. I don't need to be in the government to have a good life, because I have a good life already as a farmer. However, my going into leadership was to deal with a number of serious historical challenges. One of them is this one, that you have got a population of people who are living in poverty because they don't know what to do, and yet they are living in a rich land which has got everything, but because there is nobody to show them the way, I regard it as a serious betrayal. So that's why when my 53 years ago, after I started even earlier, but this is where I had free time to concentrate on it. That's how I engaged these peasants, to show them the way, because I had read through the books of the schools that people in Europe had gone through the agrarian revolution, they had gone through the industrial revolution, and here we are with people who have no income at all, yet they are living in a rich land, because they don't know what to do, because there's nobody to tell them. So after doing the experiment with these people here, that's why I'm insisting on showing it to people now, because politeness is no longer going to be tolerated. I'm not going to be polite to people anymore, because normally I show, hoping that people will now pick up and amplify, but they don't. You say you are a leader, but you don't deal with the socio-economic issues of the people like this one. You saw how they were living in grass-thatched houses, no income. This lady now is selling 500 liters of milk a day. And she's getting, I think, 115 million shillings in a year. And you had her saying that there is no more poverty in this area. But when I got other, so I went around in 1995, I went around the whole country. And I told everybody, please help your people to get out of non-money economy. In economics, we call this non-monetary GDP. People who live without money. Help them to get out of a livelihood without money. And it can be done. I've already experimented with it in my area. That's how I went around in 1995 in the whole country, talking about Okulembeka, Urubimbi, Jolopi. I was talking about those issues in the whole country. But nobody is bothered. Politics, go and sit in the church as if you are a priest. You sit there, then go for burials. They call that politics. That is shallow politics. It will fail. It will collapse. Because a sickness is a sickness. If it is malaria, you must get a malaria cure. These people are suffering from poverty by not engaging in income-generating activities. The medicine is not, you can go and sit in the churches, you can go and pray the whole night, you can go and go to witchcraft, but if you do not show them how to make money, poverty will not go away. I'm happy some of the people have learned and picked up. There is you can bring me, there's that man of Moyo, if you have his picture, let these people show it.
I'm a farmer, educated by Operation Wealth Creation. The group came here one time, they asked me if we can do something to educate people. I said yes, why not? So we started with them. We planted a lot of mangoes here, where you can see we are producing some marmalade and the mango juice, educating the youth for this Operation Wealth Creation so that they learn how to make money. Whereby our idea is in the future to open here a factory so that the people can work in the factories, making mango juice, making marmalade, making yogurt, making from mangoes, and we want to try our best so that people get some employment and get some jobs in Mali and the Western region, and also in Uganda. Southern Sudan is very near here, whereby all people around can even come and join and get education. The trick we are learning from Operation Wealth Creation is not only creating jobs, educating people to be self-reliant, to be able to earn a living and make money so that they can have their families. And now we have planted already, the big oranges are 350 acres, but the smaller ones are coming up about 250 acres. And we expect to start to create money, also to pay those who are working here. There are already people who are employed. We have 48 workers. These are the employees who are working here, and most of them are the youth. And some of these ladies, actually, they are not married because their husbands died during the war. And some of them, these youth, some of them are child soldiers. Monthly, they get some money, and this money must be raised from the products they work, they earn from what they produce. And therefore, we are targeting to make each year, maybe each month, from the oranges, each month we are targeting to get 48 million. From the mangoes, during the mango season, there are two seasons. One is during Easter, and the other one is during Christmas. The Easter season normally is the best. This time, in Easter season, we got 20 million. Now, we must make sure that when we work together, prosperity comes in for our nation, for our young people, and prosperity brings people to be self-reliance. And the self-reliance brings people not to go back. We have suffered these activities of wars and rebels and all these. These are effects which are out of poverty. When people are not poor, they will never think of destroying, killing, and making disaster. They will think of making more money and living a better living and even going to heaven. Nobody will go to heaven when he's poor, when he's dying, he cannot even greet people, he will not just die like this and he will heaven. That is it. You go to heaven, even me as a priest, I will bless you, amen, and you are in God's hands.
Now, you see that that's a sample of people who have listened to our message. And they would bring me the money, how much is earning. You heard that they are earning 48 million shillings a month, and they are employing already 48 people. So here, you have got two phenomena. Wealth creation, where people start getting money, but also jobs creation. If you do not produce, how would you get income? And how would you create jobs? Where would the jobs come from? That's why, therefore, from the beginning, our mass line was, let the people who are kulambala, as they say in Rusoga, who are asleep, nino, sleeping, not producing anything, only producing for the stomach, they must all go into producing for the stomach, but also for the pocket. Now, when you do that, you solve the problem of poverty, but you also address the issue of jobs. But many people are not bothered with this. They say they are leaders of barrios, attending ceremonies, going to church. Going to church is not a bad thing, but it will not address the issue of poverty unless you go there to use the church to preach, to preach how to get rid of poverty. But many of these actors don't bother to pick our line because they are too arrogant, they are full of themselves, they don't pick up what we are doing. Fortunately, wealth creation has helped, but I looked at the figures, about 900,000 people have received support from Operation Wealth Creation. This is not enough. We should have covered more people, maybe 5-6 million. And that's what is going to happen in this new term, which you, the people of Uganda, gave us. We are going to make sure that the people get involved in wealth creation. Here in this area where I am, Rakitora, where Nyamsho's area where I started from, 1966. In some of the sub-counties, you no longer have a single home which is engaged in working for the stomach only. As the lady was saying, they are now all working. There is no more poverty here. For the old families, the ones which have been here, maybe the new ones, the newcomers who are coming, those are the ones that may still be poor. But the original ones, many of them have moved, and they are producing for the stomach, but also for the pocket. Now, when I was in Kabale campaigning, I was told that in Rwanda, 90% of the homes are still working for the stomach only. That's not correct. Then that Rukiga, the figures are 92% of the homes are still working for the stomach only. This is not correct. And that was the same thing in other places, Museveni, different areas, high figures. Why haven't people listened to the message which we have been giving from 1995? I have brought many delegations here to show them what we had done. and to ask them to go and replicate it. But they don't take it up. Instead, they are busy with other things, traveling abroad, creating new administrative units. This is not acceptable. This is a departure from the mass line. The elite just become like parasites. You are getting salaries of the state, but you are doing nothing to transform the people. You are a parasite. That's what you are. Now, the other element of the mass line is industrialization of the economy by attracting foreign investments, but by also promoting local investors. Let the people show us the enterprises which have come from outside, and some of which we have built up ourselves. Like the one we have built up ourselves is like the factory of fruits in Soroti. So you show us both the foreign and our own effort. Very much. Now you have seen a sample of the two efforts. One effort are the huge number of factories brought here by foreigners because of our correct policy, because of ensuring peace in the country, but also having investor-friendly policies. When I started the Uganda Manufacturing Association with the late James Murwana, we had 80 factories only. We are now talking of 5,000 factories, mainly by foreigners. But also, we have built our own, like that one of the solid fruit factory, or like the one in Yumbe, or like the tea factories in Mabare and other places in Fort Portal. These are built also by UDB. But there are also some factories built by Ugandans, some of them. So now, because of that, we have been able to create jobs. As you saw, those people working there, those are not Chinese, they are not Indian, they are Ugandan. Those are your children working there in those factories. Therefore, getting money. But also, these factories have helped us to solve the issue of shortages. We used to have a problem of, when in 1986, we found you had no soap, no sugar. Everything was in shortage. Now, the reverse is the situation. We've got plenty. Instead of shortage, we've got a chengara. We've got a lot of production. The problem is now marketing. But also, these factories are paying taxes. And it is the tax money we are using to build the roads. Those are the products the products. But the money we are getting from the taxes of these rich people from outside is the one we are using to build so many of the roads, the schools, the health centers, to support you, to support the youth fund, the women fund, to support the myoga. That money of the myoga is coming from the taxes we are getting from those people. So are some of that infrastructure, of the roads, for instance. Now, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, those are some of the very many roads and hospitals and schools that we are building with this money from the taxes from the rich people whom we attracted from outside. That's part of our mass line. Security of land tenure. When we were making the land law, we made it very tight to make sure that the Bibanja owners are not evicted from their land. That's the mass line. But the elite don't respect that. They don't respect the historic compromise which we put forward, which was, don't abolish the ownership of the landlord unilaterally. Because those landlords also got that property because of the history of the country. And some of them even bought. The original allocatees were given free. They were part of the looters of the British who came to loot our country. But others, from 1928, started buying. We therefore did not think it was correct to simply dispossess them. That's why we said, okay, don't evict this Chivaja man. Let him stay. Let him pay nominal rent, not commercial rent. And when we have the money, we can arrange that through the land fund that he pays you, and you give him ownership of the land, but you also have money to go and do other things, and use fully the part of the land which is not occupied by people. This was a historic compromise, deliberate, done deliberately because we didn't want to be unfair to the landlord or to the Chivanja person. But these people, the elite, think they are very clever. They know how to manipulate the judiciary, how to do this, how to do this. They don't care about our input. They don't care about our position, defending the people who fought with us, the farmers. So that departure by the elite has been a mistake. Then the other line, the mass line, is, and I've said repeatedly, I don't want to hear people taxing Muchomo. Don't tax Muchomo. Maybe let them pay a license once a year, finish. But don't tax Muchomo day to day, I don't know, month to month. Leave Muchomo alone. The ones who roast meat on the roadside. The ones who roast gonja. The ones who sell kabaragara, this menvu, ichwago, a crust of bananas. Leave those people. Don't make them pay direct tax. This has been our line, but the elite don't care about it. They think what we're talking about is nonsense. Environmental degradation, degrading the environment. Now you see the consequence. You saw the Nairo perch dying in the lake. Killed by what? Degrading the environment. People not listening. Then the officials at the sub-county, because every part of Uganda has got a county chief. Every part of Uganda has got a Muruka chief. I don't want to talk about the LC3s who are elected, but let me talk about the appointed ones. Every part of Uganda has got an RDC. How do people come to settle in the wetland when you are there? Why do you allow them? Why do you allow them? Now the consequence, the mkoka, the runoff of water goes into the lake, takes their nutrients. You get floating vegetation growing in the lake, which consumes the oxygen, and the fish die. The other day you saw the fish floating on the shore, huge Nairo patches. This is a betrayal. The administrators should never allow something like this to happen, because every part of Uganda has got those managers. ISO, GISO. What would all those do? Then, of course, for us, the mass line, we reject tribalism. We support the integration of East Africa to build a common market of East Africa and of Africa, and even to work for the Federation of East Africa, because that's where the future is. Following the footsteps of our elders, whom you see there. Mzee Mwalimu Nyerere, Mzee Obote, Mzee Kenyatta. That's a part of our life. Now, recently, when our economy has started growing, we have got surplus sugar, surplus maize, surplus milk. So you can see that we need the East African market. Otherwise, our prosperity will not be sustained. Then also, our strictness on criminal liability. In 1983, when a soldier called Zablon killed 3 people in Semuto, he was tried and executed in public. That's how the NRA built a reputation. But here in the town, the police have been betraying the people. People report, even during this election, they report to the police, I am being intimidated. They say that's politics, not part of our duty. Any police who says that will be dismissed from the public service. It is your duty bound to defend the people of Uganda. Nobody has got a right to intimidate a Ugandan, to beat him, or to threaten him or her. You have no right to do that. Even to speak harshly to them, forget about beating. So the mass line means strict accountability for crime. You commit a crime, you must be answerable, strictly, like we did in the bush. That's how the NRA built its reputation, by strict accountability for crime. But what is the elite line? The line of the elite. First of all, on sectarianism, they are always like this, wishy-washy. Why do you push tribalism? Why do you push religious sectarianism? How will they help the people? How will they help the country? You don't know what they are saying. Or openly sectarian. Either not firm or openly sectarian. That's a betrayal by the elite. Not bothering about getting people from work or Kida Chonka. Instead, just PR. You attend churches as if you are a priest, you want to sit there. The burials, you go there as if you're also dead. Somebody has died, you also. They call this politics. Politics is substance. I'm showing here substance. I'm showing you the people I transformed when I was in a student. Everything must be substance, not PR, not Huh? Here in this area, there is no more working for Echida Jonka. There is no more subsistence farming here. It's 100% for most of these counties. I think Kashongi is the one which is like 67% working for the stomach and the pocket. But otherwise, the other sub-counties, it's 100% working for the stomach and the pocket. Now, I want the whole country to move on this. Of course, when this one happens, the production will be so much, then we shall face the issue of the market. Where do we sell what we produce? Where do we sell what we produce? And that's why we say one of the answers is East Africa. Then there is the delaying the elite in their confusion, for instance, delaying industrialization. That's what happened. I have seen some of these people who are studying as presidents recently. Mukshamuntu. Mukshamuntu was in parliament for representing the army when they delayed Bujagari for years. And yet Bujagari was very crucial for industrialization. It's very dangerous to go in leadership when you don't have a coherent vision of what you want to do. I don't have to be in politics if I don't have to solve the people's problems. If I'm not clear about what, because this is like medicine, if you are not clear about the disease, then don't pretend to be a doctor, because you are the one who is going to cure the patient. So when you delay industrialization, when you delay power programs, you are really acting against the masses. Refusing to implement UPE and USE. Privatization of markets, like the problem which happened in Kampala, started by the late Savannah Chisto, where markets, or city council markets, were made private for business people to get money from poor market people. That policy, I have rejected it. All the markets in the towns must come back to the government. Those who want private, you go and do your own market somewhere else, but not in the government ones. The markets are a nursery for the small people. The people who are selling nyanyas, who are selling, they don't have to pay rent to this, all these parasites. This was a big mistake by the elite to privatize markets. Not monitoring people's issues. For instance, recently during the campaign, Kada Sozi, one of our cadres called Sozi, of Olubaga, told me that in Kampala, the women who were selling waraji and the bar owners, those who are working in bars, now don't even have food in Kampala. I didn't know this because the other time we distributed food, and I thought the problem was solved. But even when we opened, because the bars have not yet opened, and because of the fear of corona, the women who were selling waraji before don't even have food. But why wouldn't the people who are involved detect this? First of all, you had those MPs, men of the opposition, useless ones. Even if you are in opposition, why don't you identify this and we solve it? That the women don't have food. Immediately, I told the Prime Minister to work with our people, our network, to give food to these women. But why would an issue like that be there and the people, the leaders, don't know it, don't bring it up? Even the opposition, so-called opposition, not to mention the government side. This type of leadership is not acceptable to me. If you cannot go down and know the problems of the people, you should not be a leader, certainly not on our side. And I will not tolerate that leadership anymore. Corruption of the police, very corrupt. Confiscating people's motorcycles, these borders, land evictions. So, this is the line of the elite. The line of the masses is there, but the elite, who are part of us, have their own line. Now, because of that, you get frustrations among the people. People get frustrated, some sections of the people. So what happens? Then opportunists come in. For instance, the sectarian groups. Now, in some of the voting, the pattern which we saw is very interesting. You can see some of that. Where now, instead of people looking of how to solve the social economic issues of the people, they now bring back sectarianism. Like you saw the voting for instance, in Uganda. I've been following what has been going on. There's nothing I don't know. I know who was meeting who was giving money to who. I know all that. They were talking of a new Uganda. But actually they wanted to bring back the old Uganda that failed. That's what they want to bring back. The old Uganda of tribes, of tribalism, of religion, that's what they want to bring back. But the original problem is really with the NRM. That's why I don't want to quarrel so much with the opportunists who take advantage of the weaknesses. The original problem is with the NRM people. Why don't you solve those people's problems, which now are exploited by the opportunists? Of course, the opportunists are also to blame, because they appear not to learn from history. Mistakes which were made yesterday, they want to repeat them today. Now, therefore, during this then you also had, there is, in these last elections, there is one country in the region which has been sending their agents to come and meddle in our politics. We are not going to tolerate that. We are not going to tolerate anybody meddling in our politics. But we have been following everything. And we have been counteracting it. But those meddlers from the region must stop. Now then, there are also the foreigners. Foreigners, the Wazungu. I don't want to be racist, but they are the ones who are mainly involved. It's not the Wahindi, it's not the Wachina, not the Warabu, but the Wazungu, who are always trying to give lectures to Africa. Those also come in. Oh, they're going to be insecurity. There is no insecurity here. You have seen it. I was seeing the pictures of people who are voting. Old women, what? Now, all those opportunities come in because of weaknesses on our side. Let's cure the weaknesses on our side. It will be much easier to deal with the opportunists who come in, because now to take us back, what they call New Uganda, actually what they mean is old Uganda, the one that failed. However, as you saw, and really it's very interesting, it's so interesting, you saw how, without any mobilization, because there was no serious mobilization. I was going around talking through the radios like I'm doing now, but the people of Uganda, because of the positive things which we have, first of all, the ideology, our ideology of emphasizing people's needs rather than their tribes and their religion, which has been the ideology of the NRM from 1965, because of a strong army, because of the unity of the people, because of peace, because of the foreign investments that have flooded in, which you saw here, because of overcoming shortages, making sure that Uganda is now a land of plenty rather than a land of shortages, because of infrastructure development, which everybody in the whole country can see. West Nile, Karamoja, the Southwest, the East, the Elgon. Because of UPE, which is not fully implemented, but nevertheless, I think they can notice there's some impact. Ugandans spontaneously, without much mobilization, have rejected the line of sectarianism. You saw the voting. Massive. The results here, these results, you can imagine the spoils votes. Spoils votes are almost 400,000. If you add those, it's a big, and most of those spoils votes are NRM votes because it's our people, farmers and people like that. So the people of Uganda have rejected the politics of sectarianism, of religion, of tribe. Anybody who has got eyes to see will see. And I'm sure get lessons from that. Therefore, the people of Uganda have stuck to the ideology of patriotism, love Uganda, Pan-Africanism, love Africa, moyo gwa Uganda, moyo gwa Africa, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. They have rejected the idea of moyo gwa mawanga and moyo gwa madini. The Madini are for God, not for roads and hospitals and so on. Those are earthly things which are handled here. Tribes, I'm a very cultural person. I have written a Rinyankore dictionary, but do not mix politics with the tribes if you are not an enemy of Africa. Therefore, I congratulate the people of Uganda, and in this term, we shall reaffirm the ideology of patriotism and Pan-Africanism and reject sectarianism and parochialism. The Chengera problem, the issue of not a problem, the phenomenon of huge production will be addressed partly by working with our East African partners on the Federation and Common Market of East Africa. Shall intensify our efforts there in this Kisanja. And some people, like those fellows, foreigners who say, oh, why have you been in politics for a long time? Yes, I've been in politics for 60 years. Because of the aims. If they are fulfilled, I would, or on the way to being fulfilled, I would happily retire. But when I see, for instance, total stagnation on the issue of East Africa, very little movement, and you see all these so-called political actors, nobody is talking about the issue of East Africa. How will our future be if we do not solve the problem of the market? Are we going to have a Latin America in Africa? Because that's what happened to Latin America. They are there, smaller countries, no unity. They are all very poor and suffering. Neighboring them, United States, which was like them a colony, these were colonies of the British, but which decided to unite. They are now a very powerful center of gravity for the whole world. South America is a land of misery. So the question is, so-called political actors, is Africa going to be a Latin America? A place of just no vision? If all these people wake up and they start producing the way we are encouraging them to wake up, even the few that have woken up, the 32% who woke up, already too much sugar, too much maize, too much milk, too much bananas. Okay, there are other solutions to marketing. You can have some other solutions, but one of the major ones is regional integration. I have not, in all these campaigns, I have not had any of so-called presidential, whatever you call them, talking about the issue of African integration. They're talking about eating the little that is here, which we have created. We struggled, stabilized the country, created some prosperity. Now that's what they want to eat. Kanakaliwo, kebariko. How about what is the future? These people are waking up. They are going to produce. They are already producing maize. What? Where do we sell it? So-called. Why are you not talking about the unit of Africa? Who will talk about it if the political leaders don't do it? And the church leaders are giving lectures about everything else. Who is talking about the unit of Africa? You talk about the unit of Africa, then I will be sure that I'm not needed because people are moving. But if you don't, and I'm still able to talk, and the people of Uganda are able to support me, I will talk about it, with or without your support. Nobody can stop me talking about the future of Africa when you are talking about nothing. just eating what is there. Who created this prosperity which is there now? It is the NRM. Now, if you don't want to add on, instead you want to destroy the little which is there, we shall not allow you. If the people of Uganda agree with us, we shall also present our case to them, like we did recently. So, if you are serious, be serious, and we talk about the future of Africa, the future, including Uganda. We are not going to tolerate the misbudgeting of Parliament. In the past, I was polite. I didn't want to talk about this because many of the people involved were my supporters. So the new MPs who have come from the beginning, we must meet in Chankwanza and agree. We shall not, I will not tolerate, I will not accept. This time, I will not accept MPs budgeting for their own increase of salaries. No, this will not happen. In the past, I was polite, trying to talk, to advise, to talk. At one time, the parliament passed a motion against me that rebuked me, Okunjukir, that I had told them that they should stop being egocentric. But this time, the budget must go for defense, because we must have a robust defense. You have seen how it is necessary. Number two, the roads. Fortunately, on the roads, we are already spending quite a bit. The roads and the railway, electricity, the hospitals, the schools, paying the scientists well. We want to pay our scientists well so that they work for the country. The scientists are about to find, I was quarreling with Museveni before I came here, because they were supposed to start trying the anti-corona medicine. We have a medicine which our people think can successfully treat corona. But they were supposed to start trials on the 15th today. Now Museveni was telling me that because the internet was down, they couldn't start. Rubbish. If the internet is not working, drive to where the people are. Oh no, the things are on the computer. Go with the manual. I was not happy with that lack of imagination. Then budget for the wealth funds. We must put enough money for the youth fund. I don't want to hear the youth crying that they don't have capital. We shall put enough money. Now, these confused fellows of ours, the foreigners, who are shallow, they are not serious. They were analyzing. There is a high turn-up. You had in the BBC and this other Arab channel called Al Jazeera, which is also a problem apparently. This high turn-up in Uganda, and this high turn-up is like to favor Bobby Wine. They think youth is just biology. They don't know that youth is biology, but also ideology. Now, the youth have turned up in big numbers. Museveni has got 6 million votes. Bobi Wine has got 3 million and something. So, where did, if all the youth voted for Bobi Wine, then how did Museveni get all these votes? Shallow, shallow, shallow. Not serious, but also indisciplined. Why do you go into people's affairs? Africans, we don't have that culture. To go into somebody's house and start, this chair should be here. I can't do it. Even if the chair is bad, the place, I will pretend not to see it and go. They have like a barbarian culture of Buyaism actually. Eh? Don't talk about things you don't know. The majority of the youth support the NRM, and the number is going to increase. Yes, Bobby Wine and others are young. Of course, I don't think even somebody of 40 is young. By the age of 40, if you are young, then that means you are stunted. The youth are 18, 19, those are the ones you call youth. You cannot say a middle-aged man, Mshuja Wahamia, the Wanyankore, they don't even have the language. Youth. A man of 40, 38. It's not a youth. This is a Mshuja Wahamia, according to the Wanyankore. From 35 to 50, the Wanyankore is Mshuja Wahamia. Umtsigazi, the youth is from maybe 16 to about maybe 25. Beyond that, you are a Umsheja, you are a man. But anyway, the youth need capital. And we shall get the capital because we have the money, we have the tax money, but the money is being misbudgeted. This will no longer happen. We must ensure the full monetization of the economy. We don't want to continue with this Okorechida. All the leaders in their areas, respective areas, must work very hard to ensure that their area is fully monetized. I don't know whether you have got that picture of Rwengaju. If you have the Rwengaju, you can see it briefly. Rwengaju.
My name is Richard Nyakana from Rwengaju Model Village. Rwengaju Model Village, and I'm the owner of Kana Farm. Started in 2008 after His Excellency the President had visited this place and advised farmers to come up with some specific economic activities on their farms. This farm is on a 1-acre model. It has got two major economic activities or enterprises. One, it has a poultry unit. The poultry unit right now has got 3,500 birds, but we are making extensions. We are likely to have 10,000 birds in the next 2 years. That's the projection. It has got a zero grazing unit of four cows, as you've seen, and we are making also an extension to add more two, so that we can have 6 cows for a zero grazing unit. This farm we started with only, the background of it, we started with only 500 birds with 1 unit. So every 5 months, we could add on an additional unit, until now we have reached to a capacity of 3,500 birds. The birds, every day they are giving us, because they are laying in shifts, they are giving us 60 trays. But I think by January, we'll be getting 100 trays because another lot will be laying. And right now, these cows are giving me, every day I'm getting 80 liters from these cows. Because I started with 2, I was getting 35. They added 40. Then when I added on additional 2, now they're giving me 80 liters a day. the 4 cows now. On top of that, the zero grazing unit for cows is doing wonders for us because it is providing biogas, which gas we are using for cooking in the house. His Excellency the President came up with an idea that those with 4-acre model, they can, plan and have 4 enterprises on the 4 acres, but we could not get the 4 acres. So he said, for us who have got small pieces, let us also develop a 1-acre model concept, but in fulfillment of His Excellency the President's vision and interest. So that's how we came up with this 1-acre model concept, and it's working out.
Now, that is Richard Nyakana. That's Richard Nyakana. From 1 acre, the man is earning, is selling 60 trays of eggs per day. So he ends up earning 216 million shillings in a year. And then from milk, he's selling 80 liters from 4 cows, 80 liters per day. And then he's earning 28 million shillings in a year. And that makes him earn 244 million shillings in a year from 1 acre. And the whole village of these camera people did not capture the whole, because I wanted them to capture the whole village, because it's not just Nyakana. When I interacted with them, and they were told are people who learn very quickly. They are disciplined, they are polite, they are not arrogant. When they hear something good, they copy it. I do not talk to them very many times. I talked to them once, and they got the concept. By the time I went back, the whole village, I think now the village is like, I will get the camera for the whole village, get a video so that you can see it in some other occasion. But it's not just Nyakana, it is now the whole parish. Now, the other man of West Nile, I don't know whether he's, this is Chikai. Now, that Natalia Vura, the one you saw, is earning 700 million shillings from mangoes. 700 million shillings a year. And this does not include what he earns from oranges, because he has got 350 acres of mangoes and 250 acres of oranges. So therefore, I really want all the NRM leaders to make sure that we do not allow anybody to go on with who has land to go on with working for the stomach only. Free education will be implemented fully. I want free education to be implemented fully. Land evictions will be zero tolerated. I had one of my supporters, the Honorable Nabakova, in Mitiana, who was fighting for the Banja people very seriously. But some people fought her. I don't know who was fighting such a hard-working woman. I will find out. But we shall counter them. We shall counter those forces. Like that lady, very hard-working, very, very committed, working for protecting the Banja people, protecting the small people against unfair taxes. So the petty taxes we are going to reject, we are rejecting them. Direct taxes. Let's go for indirect taxes. Ugandans are fond if somebody sells muchomo or a chiwago or bananas or gonja, let him. Don't only the license at the beginning of the year. Leave him alone. Let him get some money in his pocket. I know Ugandans, after a week he will be in the bar. He will buy a bottle of beer. We shall tax him like that. Himself, he will bring himself, say, I want to be taxed through the bottle of beer. And we tax him. Our daughters are fond of perfumes and so on. Let them sell their small things. Then they come, buy a perfume. There's a tax on the perfume bottle. This is a smarter way of taxing which does not cripple their small businesses. Endangering the environment must stop, because the environment is our mother. Industrialization will be intensified. We are going to attract more and more and more and more factories. Uganda will become a modern country. Foreign meddling will not be tolerated. We don't want foreigners to interfere in our affairs. If foreign interference was a source of wealth, Africa would be the richest country in the whole world, because we have had all sorts of interference: slave trade, colonialism, neo-colonialism, everything. Foreign meddling we have had. Now we don't want any of that here in Uganda. If you are a friend, we can talk, we exchange opinions, but don't interfere in our affairs, because we don't interfere in yours. We are going to develop the oil and gas industry, and this will push Uganda quickly to the middle income status. We are going to get the middle income status even without oil. But with oil, it will be much, much easier. The important thing is to maintain peace so that any dialogue is peaceful and meaningful. Actually, we have some contacts with some of these groups. We can talk. Whatever the view they have, we shall talk. What we don't want is violence, is intimidation. Otherwise, we shall talk. If you have this, if you think like this, we shall also give you our opinion. Any attempt at a disruption will be decisively defeated. I've been hearing, I've been monitoring through intelligence the plans of, I don't know who, this one here. They will do this, they will do this. If anybody tries to disrupt our peace, we shall deal with him decisively. We shall deal with him or her. It's mainly him. The hers I have no problem. I have not had a her who is the problem. The hers are there quiet, but the he's. He X, he B, he, I know X, Y, I know them. We shall deal with them decisively. I congratulate everybody that's participated in the elections, whether NRM or opposition. I congratulate the opposition for taking part. Although most of the time they are telling lies, they are doing what, but it's our job to counter them. But I congratulate them on taking part. The only thing is to avoid is violence. I congratulate the voters. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the NRM. Thank you for supporting me. Uganda is unstoppable. I wish you good luck. Thank you very much.